So for the latest on this, especially from Nkandla, let's go to our reporter there, Simphiwe Makanya. Simphiwe, so we are reporting that indeed the police minister has arrived in Nkandla in KwaZulu-Natal. Tell us a little bit more about that arrival with how many police officers in tow, if possible.
So good evening to you and to the viewers as well at home. Well, I can certainly tell you that since we arrived here outside former President Jacob Zuma's home in Nkandla this morning, we have seen quite a number of police, patrolling the area. And what is also, important or rather to note is the presence of members of the media. I'm just going to ask my colleague Tulani Ngobo to give you a sense of how members of the media are anxiously waiting to hear what is going to happen with regards to that, arrest that is expected, to be effected by the police minister, General Bheki Cele, as well as the National Police Commissioner, General Nkandla Sithole, before midnight today. Let's speak to the person who has been, explaining some of the developments around this subject since the news broke from the Constitutional Court. Mr. Edward Zuma, thank you very much for your time. Has the family had any word from the police minister with regards to what is going to happen today?
Greetings to everyone. We've not heard anything from anybody, and we are always known as law-abiding citizens. We will await what outcome, will be given to us. We are anxiously awaiting that outcome. Whatever outcome that will be given to us, all we are saying is that there is no Jacob Zuma that is going to jail, regardless of the outcome, because we have seen and we understand that, the courts have been utilized as football pitches,
Who is utilizing courts, Mr. Zuma?
Obviously, the person that bought the conference of the ANC in 2017 in Nasrec is continuously utilizing ANC members. It's no hidden secret.
Can I get this clarity, Mr. Zuma, before, just so we avoid misquoting each other? Are you saying that the president of the ANC and the president of the country is using courts to actually effect the arrest of the former president?
Well, according to Edward Zuma, not according to the Zuma family. Can we quote that? According to Edward Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa bought the ANC conference. We all know that, and we have evidence to that effect, which evidence he's been hiding from the public.
And we are saying he is using courts to arrest the former president?
He's definitely using courts to arrest President Zuma. He's using all resources that he has as a person, which he ill-got, by the way, which he ill-got. We must remember that. We are, however, saying when the time comes, we will therefore be in a position to expose such atrocities that he's been doing and that he continues to do. He's continuing to ride the NEC of the ANC using his money. However, again, at some point, we will catch up with him. The NEC of the ANC must wake up. The NEC of the ANC must stand up.
All right. Okay. Mr. Zuma, we are now in a situation where the former president has to hand himself over to the police before midnight. And we know that the police will have to act if that doesn't happen. What is the final position now of the family?
Well, again, I'm not going to be speaking on behalf of the family. I do not know whether Mr. Zuma will be handing himself over or not. But as people from the area, and I as a member of the family, we will be defending. There is no police that will come here and pick up President Zuma. There will have to be bloodshed before that happens.
Are you threatening the police, Mr. Zuma, of you basically breaking the law? You want to prevent the police from conducting the operation?
With due respect to the viewers and to all South Africans, we are not threatening the law. We are simply wanting to exact what is supposed to have happened. Something which we call justice. Something that they decided to detach from. As members of the public and as members of the community, not speaking on behalf of the family. The family might have a different view, but as Edward Zuma, we are going to die here. We are not going to allow that. Should former President Zuma allow himself or agree to that, we will stop that from happening. And if ever there is bloodshed, so be it. If you are in a situation of war, so be it.
Mr. Zuma, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Edward Zuma here saying that he is not going to allow any law enforcement authorities to get close to the former president with an intention of arresting him. The situation continues here as the clock continues to tick for the National Police Minister Bheki Cele and General Nkandla to act on that constitutional court order. Tepi, so it's over to you in Johannesburg for now.
So before you go, Simphiwe, I must ask you this question. As you said, you were seeking clarity from the former president's son, Edward Zuma himself, about what he was saying. Did you get an understanding of the importance, the symbolism behind holding that stick aloft as he was speaking to you?
Certainly, Tepi. So even when we spoke to him yesterday evening, he was holding a stick, saying that he will be using his gadgets, referring to sticks and as well as whatever that he can to prevent anyone from accessing that main gate with an intention of arresting the former president, Tepi.
So we've been watching over the past couple of days the numbers of people who had gathered to show their support for the former president. We know that they have reduced coming into this week. Do we know whether or not that number is set to increase again, Simphiwe, given the fact that midnight tonight is the deadline for what is set to be the imminent arrest of former President Jacob Zuma?
I must tell you, Tepi, so that there's no indication for now, because if you look at the time, it's highly unlikely that we are going to be seeing those numbers of people making their way here this time around. And I suppose one of the reasons for that is the fact that when the former president approached the Pietermaritzburg High Court to stay his arrest, a lot of people or a lot of his supporters were pinning their hopes on what the outcome of that court application will be. But of course, we do know that the judge in that particular matter, Judge Mnguni, will deliver judgment on Friday. So the thinking from some of his supporters is that he's not going to be arrested until that judgment is delivered. But of course, law experts have been constantly saying that nothing stops the police minister as well as the National Police Commissioner from conducting this arrest, which they have been ordered to do. Tepiso.
I want to talk, Simphiwe, about the safety that journalists enjoy at this current moment as we speak, without fanning any anxiety or rumors about what's going to happen next come midnight, and that bloodshed which Edward Zuma is threatening occurs. It is your job for you to report to us what is happening there, but how insulated do you think you can be or will be from that violence?
Well, Tapiso, they often say that there's no story that is worth your life as a reporter, and I suppose that's the approach that all these journalists that you see right now who are outside the house of the former president are going to take as we basically wait for history to unfold, if indeed police will be able to come here and effect that arrest. And I can certainly tell you, Tapiso, that journalists or members of the media have been operating under a very hostile environment here outside former President Jacob Zuma's home, with in fact one particular incident where our colleague was indeed assaulted. And I suppose we will cross that bridge when we get to it, but we will also try our best to give our viewers all that is the latest with regards to this story.
And Simpio, I know I speak on behalf of our colleagues and our viewers. Our great appreciation to you as our colleagues for the steadfastness that you've shown in bringing us the latest from Nkandla, and indeed we are with you in solidarity, praying for your safety as you continue to do your work. And I'm not just speaking about your physical safety, I'm also talking about your health as well. We've seen that there is a great potential of this being a super spreader event for COVID-19. So strength to you, and encouraging all of the colleagues there in Nkandla. We'll continue to catch up with our colleague Simphiwe Makhanya, who is in Nkandla. You saw him speak to Edward Zuma carrying a stick, saying that that is part of gadgets. He said to Simphiwe yesterday that will be used to ward off any attempt to arrest his father, former President Jacob Zuma. Midnight tonight is the deadline when the police are supposed to effect an arrest if the former president doesn't hand himself over. We were set to speak to the state attorney, who has, of course, written a letter on behalf of the police, Minister Bheki Cele, and his Commissioner General Nkandla, requesting that the acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo consider their request that they hold off on arresting former President Jacob Zuma until the legal process is concluded. Legal process being arguments that were before the Pietermaritzburg High Court yesterday. Jacob Zuma's lawyers requesting that there is a stay of arrest while they await the Constitutional Court hearings next week, Monday. So we are watching those developments.